Now at 6, Gresham parents grieving over the death of their son during a street racing takeover.
I just remember saying, "Is that my baby? Is that my baby?"
And now they're hoping for justice for the driver they say is responsible.
Oregon's wildfire map may be no more. That's thanks to a bipartisan bill aimed at repealing it. Why multiple lawmakers want to see it gone.
And Portland Public Schools dealing with its budget shortfalls. The district is looking to answer those shortfalls with $40 million worth of cuts. It's all in a new proposal from the district superintendent. We'll have that story for you coming up as we kick off the 6 o'clock hour right now.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Wednesday. I'm China Green.
And I'm Drew Carney. Rodney Hill predicting a beautiful Wednesday. So we've got Chris on traffic, Rod on the forecast. Rod, what do you got?
I only figured this out once I saw the skies are perfectly clear outdoors. It's going to be lovely out there. Here's the view from our Rose City camera. And we think this could be a day where you literally don't see a cloud in the sky. 46 is the number right now. We do have some chilly spots. I love this shot because you're looking down at a lower elevation on the golf course. And it's very frosty on the fairway. That's the Mount Hood, Oregon Resort up in Welch's and at 1,500 feet. But some of you, Washington County, Clark County, are also seeing temperatures in the 30s. McMinnville's dipped into the 30s this morning. Portland mid-40s, 61 at noon, and there's that lovely high of 73. Chris, it's been 4 days since we popped up into the 70s.
It looks like we're going to do it today and tomorrow, right? All right, let's get you out the door. Quick look at the Banfield. This is I-84 on your 82nd Avenue right there. Traffic rolling along just fine on that side of town as it is through North Portland on I-5. Overnight road work has wrapped up on I-5 near the Markham Bridge. So good news there. I do want to let folks know out in Cowlitz County, it's another day where they're doing maintenance work. They're doing some tree trimming around the utility lines on SR4. And so that's going to mean alternating lanes. They use a pilot car to alternate traffic through there. So expect delays up to 15 minutes just west of the Longview area on SR4. China, Drew.
Chris, thank you. All right, let's get to your top stories this morning. The latest results from Washington's special election showed 2 school levies in Clark County are on track to fail. So let's start off with Battleground Public Schools, where a levy would take the place of the Education and Operations levy that expires at the end of the year and aims to fund student educational programs and improve student safety. Of the ballots counted so far, nearly 52% have voted no. As for Hawkinson, nearly 56% of people have voted no, so a wider margin than Battleground. But keep in mind, this is a levy that aims for school safety improvements. And we are also keeping an eye on whether voters want to create a regional fire protection authority between Camas and Washougal. A 4% gap here with the no's in the lead, 52 to 48%. Again, these are preliminary and early results and subject to change. Election results won't be certified until May 2nd. And with bipartisan support, the Oregon Senate voted to repeal the state's wildfire hazard map.
Ashley Graham joins us here in the studio with a refresher on what this map was supposed to do and why members of both parties wanted to repeal it. Good morning there, Ashley.
Yeah, good morning. It can be rare when Republicans and Democrats come together, but that's what happened in this case. So here's a look at the map in question. Basically, it shows areas where wildfire risk is high. That's going to be these areas where things are orange, but then it also shows areas where there's a lower risk. That's these areas here in green. And you can search this map by address. And so I went ahead and typed in the address of our studios here in Southwest Portland. So that takes us into the Goose Hollow neighborhood. And you can see where it identifies this property, and it says this property is at low risk. So the map was initially introduced in 2021 after the Labor Day wildfires that burned over 1 million acres across the state. Depending on risk level, property owners will be subject to more regulations around defensible space and stricter building codes. One of the main concerns is how this map has impacted insurance rates, with some saying they felt the designations were inaccurate. Now the state is one step closer to deleting the map, the hazard designations and requirements it places on property owners.
We finally have a bipartisan, bicameral solution to the base legislation that created the issue for over 106,000 Oregonians.
However scientifically sound it might be in theory, it was stoking hostility and mistrust and a division among us that's exactly the opposite of what we need to overcome the wildfire crisis.
The bill now heads to the Oregon House. If passed, the legislation will be sent to the governor's desk. Guys.
All right, Ashley Graham's live for us this morning. We're going to stick with legislation here for this next story as lawmakers in the Oregon House passed a bill that supporters say would protect people from footing the bill to power large data centers. The proposal would allow state regulators to shield utility customers from shouldering the cost of new power plants and power lines for the state's growing data center industry. It would also require companies to commit to buying power for at least a decade if they need new infrastructure to move in. This bill now heads to the Oregon Senate. In Washington, Governor Bob Ferguson signed dozens of bills into law yesterday. We're going to show you 3 of them right here. One aims to help people dealing with medical debt by banning hospitals, physician groups, and others in the medical field from reporting medical debt to credit reporting agencies and credit bureaus. Another one prohibits people from using elephants, bears, and other animals in traveling animal acts. A third makes changes to improve safety and resources for survivors of sexual assault on college campuses.
Creating stronger, more immediate support systems for survivors of sexual assault on college campuses allows those students to persist and succeed in our colleges.
Another bill that Governor Ferguson signed yesterday prohibits employers in Washington from automatically excluding people with a criminal record from job consideration. You can find a list of some of the other bills he signed into law in the online version of this story at KGW.com.
Hey, just a reminder, we are just 2 weeks out from the start of the Real ID enforcement at airports and government facilities. So starting May 7th, you'll need a Real ID compliant driver's license to board domestic flights if you don't have a passport or military ID. If you don't have any of those, you could face significant delays at security. We've been breaching this for months, maybe more than a year now. We still don't know when airports will stop taking those old IDs, but get the new ones.
Lots of good stories in the news this morning. This is certainly one of them. The pride of West Lynn High, Peyton Pritchard, the winner of this year's NBA 6th Man of the Year award. He was the only player in the league this year who scored more than 1,000 points in games that he didn't start, and he also set the NBA record for most three-pointers made by a player coming off the bench.
Now to an inspiring story about a man with Parkinson's disease who is tackling the Pacific Crest Trail. Rob Cook started planning this long hike years before he was diagnosed with Parkinson's. But instead of scratching those plans, he decided to use the hike to raise money for the Michael J. Fox Foundation. Rob started his journey in Southern California, and in just over 2 weeks, he's covered roughly 100 miles.
One of the really nice things about being out on trail, I don't think about the Parkinson's. It's nice to just leave it behind. You got to put one foot in front of the other and make it go.
Rob also says that he wouldn't have made it this far without the community of volunteers known as Trail Angels, who provide support to hikers with things like shelter, food, and water. He's also raised nearly $2,000 so far for the Michael J. Fox Foundation.
Bob is inspiring this viewer picture request this morning. We want to see your favorite hiking spots in the area. So send us a text. You can text that number right there on your screen, 503-226-5088. We'd like to know your name, where you're from, and of course, where you took the photo. We hope to share a lot of your photos throughout the course of the next 45 minutes here on the Sunrise Show. Rod, looks like a good time to go out for a hike today.
How about, I'm not really a hiker. I have favorite walking spots. Would that work, sir?
All of your favorite walking spots are on golf courses. Am I correct in saying that?
Well, that's close. Although I'm very partial to Officers Row, Fort Vancouver.
Okay.
I love going down there and walking around.
You don't bring your clubs to that?
No. We bring our doggy, though. Maximus loves it down there. All right, we have a beautiful day coming up. Clear skies showing up on all of our cameras locally. We do have some clouds down in the southern, southeastern quadrant of the state. A little bit of shower activity down in here as well. But outside of that area, it's probably just a perfectly clear day, including you folks at the coast. There's clear skies. A low cloud bank parked way offshore, it looks like, from our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera. Lincoln State, it's chilly. 37 is the early morning number. And in the valley, some of you are in the 30s as well. Here's a clear sky shot from the Oregon Veterans Home camera out in the Dalles. More 30s, 36 degrees. And there's a money shot looking off to the east, Mount Hood in the middle from the Chehalem tasting room camera down in Sherwood. I mentioned some of you are in the 30s this morning. Hillsboro has slipped to 37. Interesting that Beaverton's 47 and Forest Grove's 48. Taggart 39, Sherwood's 38, Wilsonville 44 this morning. And Salem's 44. Wind direction today will be north-northeast, generally just 5 to 10 miles per hour. I'm looking at the flags that I've seen in downtown. They're pretty flat right now, meaning not moving. There is our day. Chance of showers in southeastern areas of our state. Otherwise, and 60-degree temperatures out in LeGrand, Pilton 65. Mainly clear in Central Oregon, Madras 65, reaching 70 in Salem, Portland, and Kelso, and up to about 60 degrees at the coast. Our 7-day forecast. Today and tomorrow just lovely. Today clear 73. Tomorrow still mainly sunny and 77 as we warm up. And then we have the chance of scattered showers on Friday and Saturday. But if you are just waking up and getting an update, the story on Friday and Saturday is this is looking to be a system that might keep all of the rain south of our region. So for now, we're eyeing the chance of some scattered showers, but all of a sudden your outdoor plans, there's reason to believe maybe you will be dry, and that is your update on our Wednesday morning. Back to you.